Now let's move to the next slide, and let's see another aviation regulations. Canadian aviation regulations. Information here is this part is based on 2020 revision. So we have 10 parts. Part 1, again, very general level. Okay, we don't spend. I'm not going to spend too much time now because see what's happening here. The approach can be a little bit different, but the goal is the same. Goal is first safety, right? Then airworthiness, then certification requirements to meet all the certification requirements. Anyway, part 1, general provisions. Part 2, aircraft identification, registration, operation of a leased aircraft by non-registered owner. Part 3, aerodromes, airports, heliports. Part 4, personal licensing and training. You want to become technician or pilot? This is for you. Part 5, airworthiness. Part 6, general operating and flight rules. Part 7, commercial air services. Part 8, air navigation services. Part 9, remotely piloted aircraft systems. Part 10, greenhouse gas emissions from international aviation. Carbon offsetting reduction scheme for international aviation, CORSIA. What I would like to mention that approximately 10 years ago, 2011-2012, I developed lunch and learn sessions, and one of the subject or one of the lunch and learn session was about regulations. And 10 years ago, we had Canadian aviation regulations had only 8 parts. Now to 2020, I checked it, and we have 10. So once in a while, right, aviation authorities, they are updating their parts, their paragraphs, their requirements, they're revising it, they're changing some rules, regulations, and requirements, etc., etc. We have to always go back and check what's happening from rules and regulations and requirements perspective. And we have to always check all these regulations. Next, I'm going to bring here, again, it's very general, very high level, and this slide is, again, I'm talking here about Canadian aviation regulation structure, and this slide is, as I mentioned, put here from my lunch and learn session, which was 2012, okay? Just I did the slight update here. So we have Canadian aviation regulations, then we have parts, under parts we have subparts, standards. Subparts is about regulation, standards is about standards, procedures, requirement, minimum criteria. Then we have divisions, chapter sections, division, chapter sections. This is 2020 updated. I checked the website and slightly it's more user-friendly structurized now, okay? And next we have subsections, and definitely all this regulation text and the standard text, etc. So let me give you here an idea how it works, right? For example, regulator tells us, I'm gonna use here approved maintenance organization, okay? Tells us that we need a person who is in charge for maintenance for this approved maintenance organization. But standard gives us criteria. Tells us that the person must have appropriate knowledge, have the experience supervising the maintenance team, or 5 or, as far as I remember, 6 years, etc., etc. So it's very simple. Regulation subpart tells us that what we need, who we need, and standards telling us minimum criteria, how many years, what knowledge, etc., etc. What certificates, what tests, right? That's how it works. Slightly different, but the goal is the same: safety, airworthiness, and certification requirements. We have also means of communications here, right? Airworthiness requirements, airworthiness directives, which is mandatory, and advisory circulars, technical publications, etc., etc. Again, please, for more information, check or visit Transport Canada website. Okay? Next, EASA. I'm not going to spend too much time here. Just copy paste from EASA website, right? Regulations, very high level, very general level. Please visit EASA website. It is here. So what we have? Basic regulations. What parts we have? Basic regulations, initial airworthiness, additional airworthiness specification for operations, continuing airworthiness under Annex 1, Part M, Annex 2, Part 145, Annex 3, Part 66, etc., etc. Aircrew regulations here, air operations here, third country operators is here, airports, aerodromes here. So everything is here. Everything is covered, okay? Again, as I said, it is slightly different, but the goal is the same. I'm repeating here because this is very important to understand, okay? Goal is the same: safety, airworthiness, and to meet certification requirements. Now let's move to the next slide, and let's see our reliability program structure based on EASA rules, regulations, requirements. As I